Tom's a great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony. I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated.
Of course he couldn't see on the night. He still can't see now, unless we're all assuming that Tom Aspinall's lying, that he's making this up, right? Come on. That's a stretch. That's too much. That's absolute nonsense, okay?
Right on the cards, would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah. Total pain in the ass, but yes.
John Jones isn't holding back again after Tom Aspinall's fight with Cyril Gane, where Tom took a nasty eye poke but still pushed through. Jones jumped online to throw shade. Coming from one of the greatest ever, that jab definitely stirred things up in the heavyweight division.
I love Tom. I'm a big believer in Tom. But there are some holes in his game if you watch enough fighting. Even though he's starching everybody, he's not starching elite level guys. He's
Jones didn't hold back when talking about Tom Aspinall's performance. He acknowledged Tom's athleticism, but said there's not much depth to his style. Jones talked about noticing predictable patterns in Tom's striking and pointed out that his ground game might not be as strong as people make it seem. He sounded more unimpressed than impressed. He also mentioned how Cyril Gane seemed completely comfortable in there, barely breaking a sweat. According to Jones, Gane was just getting started while Tom struggled to find his rhythm. He described moments where Gane's jab landed clean and said it looked like Tom wanted out after that. It was a clear message that Jones wasn't buying the hype.
Tom's a great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony. I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. That's really about it. That's the one thing that he's setting up real nice. He couldn't touch Cyril Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He was shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him. He was touching him.
That jab, too, was money.
He busted him open.
He was so comfortable.
I think Tom was looking for a way out, and he took it. He needs to change his game.
After Jones's harsh take on Aspinall's skill set, Brendan Schaub jumped in with a more balanced but still critical take. He didn't disagree with Jones entirely, but he made it clear that Tom's still the best active heavyweight right now, even if the division isn't at its strongest. Schaub said Tom's athleticism is off the charts, but when you look closer, there are still gaps in his game.
I don't think Tom is better than John. I do think Tom, as far as the crop and yeah, again, he's not even that active, but as far as active fighters, Tom's the best heavyweight we have to offer. That being said, and I love Tom, I'm a big believer in Tom, but there are some holes in his game if you watch enough fighting. Even though he's starching everybody, he's not starching elite level guys. He's beating and demolishing guys that are offered to him, but the heavyweight division has never been weaker. So you're basically the king of the mediocre heavyweight division. But again, not his fault. But with saying that, it goes to show that Tom does have some issues in his game that at a certain level will get exposed.
Schaub also broke down why Tom's fight with Gane exposed a few things. He said Tom's biggest strength is his fast hands that make him dangerous, but that doesn't automatically mean he's a world-class striker. Against Gane, who actually is a world-class striker, Tom started getting picked apart early. His nose was bloodied, he was rushing in head first, and nothing was really landing clean. Schaub pointed out that at heavyweight, leading with your head is a recipe for disaster, and Tom learned that the hard way. Add to that his still unproven wrestling, and Schaub thinks this fight showed why a matchup with Jones might not go the way fans imagine.
And so now he faces Cyril Gane, who's the closest you can get in the heavyweight division to say world-class striker. A background in kickboxing, took some kickboxing fight, probably the best striker Tom's faced. How'd it go from the sample size that we have? How did it go? Not good. Not good at all. Now, he didn't get dog walked. He didn't get fucking completely outshined, but he was getting pieced up. He was getting pieced up. And the longer that went, that's where the questions come into place going, oh man, how would this have gone in the second and third? If he's getting pieced up in the first, nose bloody, getting jabbed, not really landing, and this is my only criticism, Tom. He leads head first, which is boxing 101, not good, especially when you're a big heavyweight.
When it came to Henry Cejudo giving his opinion on the fight, he didn't question Tom's decision to stop. He said if Tom couldn't see, then that was that. You have to take the fighter's word for it, because when the vision goes blurry, there's no toughing it out. He mentioned how his own eye injury still acts up even months later, and how damage like that never truly heals, right? It's not like a bruise or a cut. Once that nerve takes a hit, it changes how you see, literally.
Yeah, first of all, I think when you do get poked, you're thinking, all right, man, let's let this vision come back. And the biggest thing is time. If Tom said he couldn't see, then he couldn't see. You have to take him for his word. A little different from when I got poked straight through. You don't think this is intentional, Brett? Go back and watch it. And I like Song, and he seems like a good dude, but your hand should never be here. But to get back to Tom, it don't take much, Brett. Like even still till today, like my eyes still, like when there's like pollution in the air, like my left eye will turn red. You know what I'm saying? Where I've sent this stuff to Dr. Davidson and even Ali's like, Ali, look, you know what I'm saying? So the eye is something that's very, very hard to damage, but when it is damaged, it's damaged. Like it takes a minute.
But beyond sympathy, Henry was warning Tom not to let this moment define him. He said when something like that happens, you either shake it off, joke about it, or let it eat you alive. And if you let it eat you, you'll never fight the same again. He talked about how, in his own case, the world kept spinning, not metaphorically, but literally. His vision was so off that he'd see two of everything, and it made him realize how dangerous eye pokes really are.
Tom cannot allow it to affect him. If he allows this stuff to affect him, he's not going to be the same fighter. You got to troll back, have fun with it, or just be carefree like me, like just not give. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's Tom's the only one that could actually feel what happened to him. So for my eye, to get back to my eye, it's not that I couldn't see. I was just seeing too many. You know what I'm saying? And a real bad eye poke, and I learned this, dude, because I learned this going back into the mat like 2 weeks later. Like, it's a concussion, man. It's a concussion when you go back and like you want to.
Michael Bisping came out swinging on this one. Right from the start, he made it clear that people needed to calm down and stop blaming Tom. He said unless Cyril planned that poke, it's not intentional, and no fighter goes in looking to blind their opponent.
Tom Aspinall and Cyril gone. Here's the situation. Everyone needs to shut the hell up because Tom Aspinall was the victim of a foul. He wasn't the guy that went out there and fouled Cyril Gane. It was unintentional, and Dana White was asked about that in the post-fight presser. How do you determine unintentional versus intentional? His response was, I don't know.
No matter what you do with the glove, they're going to happen.
And the reality is, how do you do that? Okay, unless you know Cyril Gane says beforehand, I'm going to foul him, I'm going to poke him in the eye. Unless you hear someone say that, it's always unintentional. I don't think any fighter...
He broke down the fight without sugarcoating it. Cyril looked sharp early, landed a solid right hand that broke Tom's nose, and was likely taking the first round. But Bisping pointed out it was a 5-round fight. Anything could have happened after that. The eye poke stopped things too soon, and all the critics saying Tom was tired or looking for a way out didn't make sense to him. Fighters get tired every round, then recover. That's part of the sport.
Now, let's talk about the fight real quick. Fight started. It was a close fight. It was an entertaining fight. Both men were bringing it. Cyril Gane looked really good. Obviously, he landed that big right hand. It shattered the nose of Tom Aspinall. There was blood all over the face. And Cyril was landing more shots, okay? Would he have won that round? Yeah, he was going to win that one round. But there's 5 rounds in a championship fight and anything could have happened. Yes, it was looking good for Cyril early. He was able to stop a takedown and maybe Tom was starting to get a little bit tired. That doesn't matter because the way you prepare as an athlete is to empty the tank for every round and then to be able to fully recover in the 60-second time period that you have to break, okay? So getting tired at the end of a round doesn't matter. Can you recover in 60 seconds? That's what really matters, how quickly you recover.
When Bisping got to the eye poke itself, his tone changed. He said Tom instantly said he couldn't see, and that's not something a fighter fakes. He talked about how panic hits in that moment, when your vision suddenly goes dark, and fighting becomes the last thing on your mind. He reminded everyone that Tom was fouled, not the other way around, and as replays showed, it wasn't a small poke. It was deep, straight to the knuckle.
That's the sign of true fitness. So anyway, the eye poke happens. Tom straight away says that he can't see. Now, all the MMA critics and every expert and every person that's never fought a goddamn day in their life. I've seen streamers online. Some guy was calling him all kinds of names and this and that. The man looked like he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, and he's talking about Tom Aspinall, okay? The heavyweight champion of the world, who is the best finisher in the UFC right now. So, a lot of people saying, listen, he shouldn't have said, I can't see, okay? And granted, I understand that criticism, because we know as fighters, if we say we can't see, the doctor is going to stop the fight. However, I said this on my podcast on Monday, what about this eventuality? What if you can't actually see and you're starting to panic and you're like, hold on a minute, never mind the fight, I can't see, right? That is very alarming. That is very worrying. And right there and then in that moment, you've got...
Then Bisping gave an update that silenced anyone doubting Tom. He said Tom went back to England, got examined again, and still couldn't see. His right eye was completely gone, and his left was only halfway functional. Even after a few days, there was no improvement. Bisping said, if Tom's still seeing nothing days later, then he definitely couldn't see during the fight. There's no pretending through that.
Everybody's got an opinion on this. Tom Aspinall has gone home to England. He's gone to Cheadle Hospital and he's had yet another eye examination, and he still can't see. The video says it's bad, it's not good. His right eye, he still can't see anything.
He kind of basically did the same as the guy that we saw over there. Said, it's bad, it's not good. But his eye is a little bit more closed than it was. His right eye he still can't see anything. Said it's just grey.
And the left eye is still bad. There's only 50% vision, but it's really blurry on the old school eye tests. It can only go down like a few rows, okay? So that's not good, okay? So given that a few days has passed and he still can't see, of course he couldn't see on the night. He still can't see now, unless we're all assuming that Tom Aspinall's lying, that he's making this up, right? Come on.
Teddy Atlas also offered his take on the incident. He wasn't just talking about one bad moment. He was talking about what caused it, what it revealed, and what needs to change in the sport. Teddy went into something that hit deeper, the gloves. He questioned how a company as big as the UFC, with all its resources, still hasn't fixed a design flaw that keeps ending fights like this. His frustration felt genuine, as if he'd been saying this for years and no one was listening. He described how small changes could prevent injuries without ruining grappling, and how heartbreaking it was to see a great matchup ruined by something so preventable.
For 7 years, 6 years now, I've been yelling about the great sport and the way it's branded and the way it's developed and the way it's been built and the fan base. It's all the magnificence of the UFC and how all the fights are competitive, all of that. But how could they not come up with the technology that's out there, that's available, the science that's available nowadays, with the resources that the UFC has, because they are such a great brand and they have developed the way they have? How could they not come up with some kind of glove, some kind of product that is pliable enough?
But not everyone shared the same level of concern after that chaotic ending. When Dana White was asked about the eye poke and how it ended, he didn't sugarcoat anything. He said it was a great showing with a terrible ending. Plain and simple, he gave props to Cyril Gane for looking sharp, especially since people had doubted him after the John Jones loss, and said the fight looked like it was shaping up to be a few solid rounds before everything went sideways.
Wait, we want to see a main event end, any fight end. Give us your reaction to the eye poke and how it went out.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, you know? I think that after the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Cyril Gane off. He looked damn good tonight.
Yeah, what did you think about the fight on its way to the eye poke? What did you take from those 4 minutes?
Good. Looked like we were in for a few rounds, and it was going to be a good fight.
When the talk turned to what's next, Dana was blunt as usual. He said rebooking the fight would be a pain, but yeah, that's the plan once Tom's cleared. As for medical updates, he didn't have much to share, just that Tom was already heading to the hospital. And when someone asked what makes an eye poke intentional, Dana brushed it off, saying there's no real way to prove that. To him, it's just one of those things that happens in the sport. Even when gloves came up, he didn't sound too optimistic, saying they'd tried new ones before and it didn't work out. In his words, sometimes stuff just happens.
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah. Total pain in the ass, but yes.
Yeah. Have you got any medical update on Tom, or is it still too soon?
He's on his way to the hospital.
It's a bit of a weird question, right? It was ruled a no contest because of an unintentional eye poke. What does it take to make an eye poke intentional, and is there even a way you could ever prove that?
Who the fuck knows? Who gives a shit? What are you going to do?
I know we, tried to do new gloves before, and that kind of didn't work out. Is there anything we can do to stop these eye pokes? Would you ever look at maybe trying to change the gloves again, or is it just part of the sport? Just shit happens.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what you do with the glove, I mean, they're going to happen.
At the end of it all, John Jones calling Tom Aspinall overrated has set the heavyweight division buzzing again. After that messy fight with Cyril Gane, where an eye poke stopped things too soon, questions about Tom's skill and potential only grew. Now, a rematch feels like the perfect chance for him to show what he's really made of and quiet all the noise. What do you think? Will Tom prove everyone wrong in the rematch, or was Jones right about him all along? Let us know in the comments below.